It's the unboxing. Oh, yeah. Like, welcome, followers. It's me, Cardinal, and welcome to another episode, of the unboxing. We've got a really great show for you guys tonight because, it's going to be so wild and fantastic and late night wazoo. So let's get right to it. This came in the mail. It looks pretty cool. Let's see what it is. All right, it says tear here to open. Let's see what happens. Hey, it worked. Cool, man. Oh, wow. What? Oh, this is one of my favorite movies, dude. Fury with Brad Pitt. And it's in HDR. It's like high density resolution or definition or something, man. It's like totally cool. And then I have several copies of The Magnificent Seven, which if you've never seen, oh, dude, let me tell you, this is a great freaking movie, man. Really great movie. Let's go ahead and see who's in the audience this morning. We have Philip Blair. Hail. Krampus Jeebus is in the house and says, hey guys, Mr. MH. Woo! Good to see you, sir. Ted's Nerd World. Dude, gnarly. That is so radical, man. I got to hang out with Polly, Nerdrotic, Anna, and Chris Gore. Wow. That would be really cool as if Nerdrotic weren't there. And Philip Blair says ours for radical, dude. You know it, man. All right, enough of that. Let's see what Amazon sent me. All right, because this is going to be. Now, this is it. I've never seen this before, dude. You see that 70 up there? What does that mean? What am I supposed to think? All right. I can tell what you're saying. Don't ask, just open. It's not the asking, it's the unboxing. Okay, fine. Whatever, man. Oh, so I've never seen Top Gun, man. Okay. And before I saw Top Gun Maverick, I wanted to see Top Gun in HDR. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch this movie. And if I like it, I'm going to get Maverick in HDR, the high definition resoluteness or whatever, man. Okay. So we've got one of these that needs cutting on. And so I got my cutting on utensils right here. Now, see, this one says 67. What are they trying to put me in some kind of a box with their numbers, man? I'm not so sure if I like this, but we're gonna just roll with the punches, man, because that's the cool thing to do. Oh, and so this is a DVD, I believe, and it's got The Dead Zone, which is a great fucking movie, man. It's got Pet Cemetery, which is a great movie, man. It's got Silver Bullet, which I watched last night, and I realized I'd watched it drunk like a week before, but I watched it again anyway. And it's got Graveyard Shift, which are all great, either Stephen King or Richard Bachman stories. I can't remember at the mo, but wow, it's cool, man. And if I could do a little better Dennis Hopper that didn't have quite so much Jack Nicholson in it, I would, but I can't, man. So I'm just going to kind of roll with the punches, like I'm a journalist that's all the way up the river with Marlon Brando, who doesn't get killed because I'm there to like focus on him, man. You know what I'm saying? And if you've never seen Apocalypse Now, never mind. It'll be fine. Yeah, I know. The people that aren't awake right now are missing this incredible performance. But hey, their loss, right, man? Well, there's definitely something in here that's interesting, man. So I'm just going to yank it right out. Not like that. I don't do that on this channel. You guys know better than that. So we've got Dana Carvey in Master of Disguise. Now, the reason I got this movie, man, was because Brent Spiner's in it. And I've seen little clips on YouTube of Dana Carvey doing his thing. And it's pretty funny, man. But like the whole movie gets like a 3.2 on the Internet Movie Database, dude. So like, I'm just going to go for it because Brent Spiner, his performances are few and far between. I also got the movie and TV collection of Stephen King, and this includes The Stand, The Langoliers, The Golden Years, The Dead Zone, Pet Cemetery, Silver Bullet, and Graveyard Shift. And I've got to say, man, Pet Cemetery is a great fucking movie, dude. It really is. The original one with Denise Crosby. You know where I'm coming from, man. I've never seen the remake. I probably won't, just because I like the first one. That one and Firestarter are probably my two favorite of Stephen King's novels. And probably my favorite movies, except for Dreamcatcher. That one's a good one, too. So put that there for a mo, along with the Master of Disguise. Oh, yeah. Let's see what else we've got. Krampus Jeebus says, I went to Comic-Con today. I didn't even know Comic-Con was on. Wow. Like, that is like totally late night fun. Woohoo! Absolutely. Philip Blair. And Krampus Jeebus also says, oh crap, I'm going to buy Maverick. Well, I'm going to buy Maverick if I like this one. And Top Gun has some great songs in it too. 67, not far away from 69. Dude, you read my mind, which is a pretty short read. Pet Cemetery is a very disturbing movie. Yeah. What about a Christopher Walken impression? And Krampus Jeeba says, I know Michael Hughes. Philip Blair says, Christopher Walken went down to Georgia. It might be true. I don't know. Dreamcatcher does have Pennywise in it. Very good observation. Masters Maniac Mexico says, "Good night, good gentlemen." Well, wait, it's not over. I'm just checking on my peoples. Comic-Con was where I got to hang out with Polly, Anna, and Chris Gore. We went to dinner after it. Okay, cool. And Philip Blair says, "Why does he need all those disguises?" Well, because he's the master of decides. Actually, I think in the movie, he's descended from like a long line of masters of disguise. So, Nick from Echo Base Network is here. Good to see you, brother. My friend, wow, it is radical that Nick is here from Echo Base Network. Everyone, please, a little applause for Echo Base Network. No, seriously, one of my favorite channels. Wow, man, I am totally in tune with Echo Base Network because those guys, they don't use the F-bomb. You know, they've got those no words. But, you know, when coach is away, then Nick will play. Am I right, dudes? Okay. So it is very welcome, very welcome. And yes, turtle. And it's like a whole family in disguise. All right. Now, can we get back to some unboxing? That's what most of the people are here for. And none too soon, because this is the last one that I have. So, you know, I don't know what you think is in this box or this bag or this bagox, but I'm gonna open it if I can figure that out. Hoo-ha! Nick, shouldn't you be asleep? You've got a long day, or an early day tomorrow, anyway. So some of these are this way, and some of these are this way. Wow, man! Like, this is so cool. So, like, I'm buying like some gifts for my friends, like, because we're having this radical like Christmas party, you know, even though I'm Jewish. It's a Hanukkah party, whatever, man. Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, Christmas time. You know, it's a good time to give your friends presents, man. You know, and so there's this great movie that's called The Box with Cameron Diaz and James Marsden and Frank Langella. And it was written by Richard Matheson. And the plot of The Box, get your mind out of the gutter, or I'll put it right back where it belongs. I don't even know what that means. But the plot of The Box is someone shows up on your doorstep and they bring you a little box that has a button on the top. And they tell you, if you press the button, you get $1 million. And someone that you don't know will die. And immediately I'm thinking, like, it's got to be someone in China, because they've got like 1.7 billion people there or something. That's got nothing to do with the plot. That was just my initial thinking. I was like, yeah, China probably. India, maybe. I don't know. But someone you don't know. But there are consequences. It's a great movie. I recommend you watch it. Grab it on DVD for, you know, cheap, or, you know, just rent it on Amazon Prime. Dude, it is totally worth it. It's a great movie. Everyone knows what a huge Frank Langella fan I am, dude. Like, man, you can't get a whole lot better than the box, man. I'm just telling you, that's the way that it works. So we'll put those there and see who else we have here. Yes, you were right. It's not a deli sandwich, man. No, not at all. Greets to Echo Base Network. All good, mate. Hope you well. Philip Blair says, I have the box, but I haven't watched it. What are you waiting for, Philip Blair? Holy cannoli. Wow, man. You're like starting to drag me down. I can't believe you have the box and you haven't watched it. Cardinal Sin heartily recommends 9 out of 10 or something crazy like that. I guess that'd be a 4.5 or whatever. Masters Maniac, Mexico. Oh, Frank Langella, best Skeletor in the world. I'm telling you, man, he is the greatest Skeletor. And he's a very fine actor, the greatest Dracula, the greatest actor in the box. He was also in The Americans. Very good in The Americans. And The 12 Chairs. It's, man, it's like a Mel Brooks movie. It's very funny, and it stars a young and very handsome Jewish Frank Langella, so you should check it out, man. I'm still working on the whole Owen Wilson's dad, Dennis Hopper. That's his name. And I keep getting this Christopher Walken kind of creeping in. I just got to put myself back into the going up the river. I'm a photojournalist with Marlon Brando, or maybe like Land of the Dead, where the dead have come back to life. The word problematic loses much of its meaning. It still has too much Jack Nicholson in it. I don't know. Sue Dolan is here. Oh, wow. Lugosi also played Dracula on stage as well. Yes, before and probably after. He played it for Todd Browning. He played it on whatever Hungarian Broadway is called for years. Philip Blair says, I will watch it if I find where I can put it. Tiger Stripes is in the house. And she says, different times for Bella. And I wouldn't call Langella my fave Dracula. Well, let me tell you a little something about that. After playing Dracula on Broadway for a year, Frank Langella decided he'd done it for a year, and that was plenty. And then the producers of the film asked him if he'd play the role for the film. And I'm telling you, man, like, wow, he totally agreed, which was very cool and all like that. But they asked him, to do like the fangs and the blood and everything. And he was like, no. And they said, what? And he said, no. And he said, I can't really do Frank Langella. I'm sorry. He said, I'll try. Yeah, let me have a little liquid courage. I'll give it a shot. That was more than a little liquid courage. Anyway, man, after doing Dracula on Broadway for a year, man, they asked for the gore and the fangs and the blood, and he said no. And they were like, huh? And he said, I'm just going to play it as a romantic lead. Take it or leave it. Who knew Frank Langella, man, sounded so much like Gil's actual voice? I'm telling you, man, don't go up the river, especially not alone. Anyway, that's the story. And of course, they made the film. Dracula 79 is a very good film. I find I have a man crush, if you will, on Frank Langella at every phase of his life as an actor. Now see him getting back into the Christopher Walken when I'm trying to do the Dennis Hopper, man. I'm just breaking it out, so I don't give me a hard time about it, man. Maybe I should develop a Peter Fonda so I can do a back and forth. Of course, that would necessitate me watching Easy Rider, which I also haven't seen. I know, don't hurt me. Jeez. Anyway, so let's see. Oh, is the lovely Sherry in the house? Looks like it. Man, how many people are in here now? Okay, good. Okay, all right. Okay, yeah. Turtle, yeah. I that's what I said. Short leash. Hail KJ, hail Nick. One more box. It's not a deli sandwich. We've been there, haven't watched it yet. Great. He made one hell of a Dracula. Man, that's all I'm trying to say, man. Frank Langella made one hell of a Dracula. Now, I've always personally suspected that Owen Wilson was the son of Dennis Hopper because they kind of have that same nasally performance and they sort of have the same mannerisms, except that Owen Wilson only says man about half as many times as Dennis Hopper says man. But, come see, come saw. Not an easy thing to do to play Dracula, probably 9 or 10 times a week on Broadway. Yes, Mr. MH, I am such a fan of Donnie Darko, man. Now, I've got to tell you something important about that film. If you get the director's cut, there are characters, plots, and subplots that aren't in the original iteration of the film, man. And it makes sense. It's cohesive, it's coherent, it makes sense. It's a whole different experience. So if you get a chance, get yourself a copy of the director's cut because it came out right opposite 9/11. And so it went in the box office, man. So definitely check it out. Give it a shot. Let's see. Odds, evens. Tiger Stripes, man, is saying this is totally monkey's paw territory. There's always a catch. She knows the box. She knows her Richard Matheson. Is there a limit of how many times I can press it? Your luck? Yeah, probably. Don't press your luck. Now, if it's like, another pressing of your band's record or something, man, that's okay. Philip Blair, man, thinks this is really funny for some reason. There's the lovely Sherry. I'm speechless that the lovely Sherry has deigned to appear in my chat. Thank you. Hey, Sherry. Philip Blair says, I want to play Dracula. That sounds like a fun part to play. Well, knock yourself out, sir. Knock yourself out. Tiger Stripe says, Edward Gorey designed the stage sets for Langella's Dracula. Yeah, okay. Now, Krampus Jeebus says, you're up late. How was your day? Well, I slept late. So I ate late. I'm up late. Actually, initially, I was waiting to do this episode of the unboxing for Coach and Nick to finish this stream. And then I forgot about it because I got involved in this movie that I'm watching. So, yes, it's now Sunday morning. And Langella was in his heyday then. Man, Langella was in his heyday then. He was so groovy, man. Dude, you have no idea. Darth Scipio's in the house, man. Wow, like Cardinal Sin, are those posters originals or reproductions? I think the repros. Where can I get them? Well, if you're so smart, Darth Scipio, why don't you go walk on the internet? Let your fingers do the typing and find out for yourself. Okay, man. All right. Now we've got a little bit more news here. You can tip me at paypal.me/Gil Bavell, my alter ego. Krampus Jeebus mentions that, like, Christopher Lee did a great Dracula, and it depends on whether you're watching the horror of Dracula, the satanic rites of Dracula, or Dracula has risen from the grave, because they're all great movies, man. The Ninth Gate goes without saying. And what do I have here? Oh, what could it be? Oh, a book it is. Yes. Oh, aha! The Book of the Nine Gates of Hell. Written by Satan himself. Yes, it is. This is like got all the great like woodcuts and everything that Frank Langella was trying to get Johnny Depp to like figure out, man. Like, is mine the original? Will it do the job? Is it gonna summon up the devil or not? It's got the woodcuts and everything. This was not cheap, but it was worth it, man. Very few people have this book, and eventually I'm going to call up old Scratch himself, and I'm going to take a picture of him. Man. Oh, wait. There's more unboxing, man. I like totally forgot about this. This is probably going to be like the best one of all. Gonna have to use my skizzers. Man. I need a drink. Oh, Jiminy Christmas. Sorry about that, man. That was completely uncharacteristic of me to have that kind of wow. Holy moly. So, man, I've been writing this game that's kind of an homage to a game that my best friend Brian wrote, and we played a lot back in the 80s, called Holocaust 2000, man. And it was kind of like Car Wars and Auto Duel and GURPS, and it was just this very original RPG, man. And unfortunately, Brian died in 1998, and a mutual friend was lamenting to me a couple of months ago, man, like, I miss Brian and I miss playing Holocaust 2000, man. So I said, well, I'll go ahead and create Holocaust 2050, but I can't do it without Auto Duel Quarterly. And man, this is totally cool. This has got like everything you need. It's got like little stories and modules in it. It's got ads for, stuff that you need to have if you're a player character. This one takes place in Utah. You can see like a little Salt Lake City action there. And so every one of these that you get, you accumulate more information, which for me, man, is totally important because I've lost the ability to write creatively. I've only been doing it for the last 27 years of my life, man. So having these source books is helpful, and it helps me create a more interactive, useful experience, man. You just gotta dig it. All right, let's see where we were. Okay, Krampus Jeebus, they never gave Lee any lines as Dracula. That's not true. They gave him lines as Dracula. Masters Maniac Mexico says, Frank Langella and Christopher Lee are my faves, man. Can't decide between the two, both as they are genius in their own way, incarnating the Count of Darkness. Tiger Stripes doesn't like the Ninth Gate. Tiger Stripes, I do respect you, dude. However, I have to say, man, if you think that you don't like the Ninth Gate, you haven't watched it enough. That's all I have to say. I actually did like Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula, the Bram Stoker's Dracula, except for Keanu Reeves' performance, because he had a completely unbelievable English accent. I mean, every time I saw him playing that character, all I heard was, I know Kung Fu, or dude, from like Bill and Ted. It is very much Dracula versus Dracula. And Darcipio says, Easy Rider is only good if you're wasted out of your skull, man. That's very true. That's very true. Susan Dolan says, at Tiger Stripes, my oldest brother used to tell me of a time while playing Dracula. The stage crew was setting up stage props. The back doors open. Lugosi walks to the stage in costume. Oh, there's some more. He walked up to the stage, stopped, and looked at the crew, man, who were frozen to the spot, man. Lugosi looks at them and says, "Can you tell me where is the bathroom?" Ah, ah, ah. Darius Munchausen is here. Good to see you, man. Wouldn't want to be a dude. Owen Wilson. Okay. Tiger Stripes has me. Owen Wilson is famous for saying, wow. But you know what he says after wow? He says, wow, man. Just like his dad, Dennis Hopper, who I'm convinced is secretly his father. Darth Scipio says, Whoopi Goldberg got a whole lot of Langella, if you know what I mean. No, Darth Scipio, I don't think I do know what you mean. He also says that thing about lizards, too. Tiger Stripe says, don't know about that. More of a Luke fan. LOL. Tiger Stripe says, I watched a Lugosi's excuse me, I need another drink. God, who mixed these things? That would be me. I watched the Lugosi film on Svengoolie tonight. Sleep! The Raven. Yeah, I love The Raven. I own a personal copy. The lovely Sherry admits I'm usually here lurking. Cardinal sin. Edward is a spooky name. Edwardian. Edward Cullen, really? Your favorite vampire? Like, wow, man, that is like mind-blowing. I will tell you one thing. I thought Peter Fonda was really good in the original Ghost Rider as Old Scratch, sometimes known as Old Nick, or just the devil, Satan. And yes, we're just going fully into the Christopher Walken here because, you know, I've got a soft spot for the devil when I'm in the Christopher Walken mode. But I do agree that that's quite possible. Philip Blair says tons of trivia on the internet. I remember when I was little, man, and we first got the internet. James Bond movie trivia websites were the first place I explored. So fun, man. Darius Munchausen says he's just in the zone. Scipio, he's in character. Darius Munchausen, do you mean the dead zone? I bet you do. I bet you anything you mean the dead zone. I think that's in that box of... Anyway. Let's see what else we have here. Is it a good read? Yes, it's a fantastic read. Man, it is like the best read ever, man. You want to stick with that and read it all the way to the end, man, because it is like some of the greatest reading ever. Now, Susan Dolan is going to find that she's a woman after my own heart, man, because Barnabas Collins and Dark Shadows are like totally where it's at. Have any of you seen Easy Rider? Do you know that they talk about the UFO and alien abduction in like 1975 or whenever that movie came out? It's pretty crazy. I'm not really sure if they were just like improvising or whatever, but they had to have heard about the Travis Walton case or something. That was crazy. I should see that movie if just for that and nothing else. More Dark Shadows, vampires. Susan Dolan, vampires have such a fascination. I don't think Jonathan Frid knew what he was getting into when he took the role of Barnabas, man. All those teenage girls riding him. No, it's not a module. It's a fantasy role-playing game for Brian. It's an homage to Brian. But it's got elements of sort of the Mad Max, movies, man, and some car wars, some auto duel, and some Fallout, the role playing game. I'm just sort of grabbing, mixing, and matching from different places so that I can make a stab, at man, these fancy role playing games that the kids seem to love today. But I'm going to be playing with a bunch of 50 somethings that remember our friend fondly. And as Kathleen Kennedy has said, we're not making movies for 50 somethings, man. So fuck her, man. I'm going to write my own entertainment. I'll write between 4 and 6 hours a week for a 2 to 3 hour game, man. And that's all she wrote, because Kathleen Kennedy can't write her way out of a wet paper sack. Am I right? Oh, snap. Poor Keanu did his best in that film. Well, that might be, but I don't think Winona would get within 10 miles of Keanu Reeves at that point in his career. Now, I'm sure she'd love to be married to him. Susan Dolan says, Tiger Stripes, man, sometimes you could see the wires or the sticks that the rubber bats. Sometimes you could hear the set team pounding away on props while they were filming. Okay. Dalcipio says, Fright Night is my favorite Dracula film. Actually, man, Dalcipio, it's not a Dracula film. It's just a vampire film. Vampires are not necessarily Dracula, while Dracula is necessarily a vampire. That's the logical fallacy in your comment. Backdoor Jerry, yeah, we're not going to talk about there. Darius Munchausen, man, makes a very good point. Who wouldn't want to be me? I'm still having a really hard time, man, like not slipping into Jack Nicholson mode, because I used to do that all the fucking time. Especially after that first Batman movie came out. I bet Dame Judi Dench would play a badass Dracula. Well, it's a male role, so she'd have to play either Countess Dracula, the Brides of Dracula, or Dracula's daughter. Tiger Stripe says to Susan Dolan, can't say I've noticed those things in the original Dracula, but the new prints of the old Universal Monster films are so amazing. Man, totally agree with Tiger Stripes on that one. She accuses Philip Blair of being drunk. Now, I'm not sure that's a very friendly thing to say. Excuse me. Oh. Holy MacGuffin. All right, I'm back. Yes, I'm a romantic. You're a drunk. I'm a romantic. I love the way you think, Tiger Stripes. Philip Blair says, not drunk at all, but I am laying horizontal in bed. Philip Blair, man, how else would you lay in bed? Vertically? Uh, I don't understand. I'm confused, man. Um, Langella screwed Whoopi for years. You know now, my friend. I had no idea. I did not know that. I didn't know. Actually, Krampus Jeebus has a very good point. I have been thinking about getting a Santa Claus hat and just wearing that all through December. But Hanukkah starts on the 20th, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna put one of these little lights on each letter as we go, because you've got HANUKKAH. That's 8 crazy nights, as Adam Sandler would have you believe. So now we're talking about The Raven with Vincent Price, Boris Karloff, Peter Lorre, and a very young Jack Nicholson. I don't think that was his film debut, but it was definitely the longest amount of screen time he'd had, man. I apologize for going into this sort of a Christopher Walken mode. I don't even know Christopher Walken, man. So how am I supposed to imitate him? I don't understand. Tiger Stripes goes on to say that I think my favorite modern devil is Viggo Mortensen in the Prophecy. Yes, it's one of my favorite films, actually. All right, now you've got me completely into the Christopher Walken mode. Let me tell you a little something about The Prophecy. Now, Gregory Wyden wrote the first movie, The Prophecy, and then 2 and 3 starred Christopher Walken as Gabriel. And if you haven't seen number 3, you should probably watch it, because there's a little special something that happens at the end there that you want to watch out for. If it were me, I couldn't have played it any differently, because Christopher Walken is, a much superior actor to me. I'm just a reactor. So, but it's a lot of fun. Philip Blair's having coffee with someone important. Milk and brown. Oh, sugar. I'm sorry. I thought it was you having coffee with like Glenn Close or something. Man. Tiger Stripes says to Susan Dolan, of course. Man, I was actually surprised that there wasn't the one being shown on Svengoolie tonight. I didn't even know there was another film called The Raven, man. I'm starting to lose this whole Dennis Hopper thing. Maybe I should just go back to Owen Wilson. Wow. Or I guess I could try what's his name? The guy from Matthew McConaughey. Yeah. What's his catchphrase? Help me out, chat. What does he say? Hey, hey, hey. No, maybe not. Yeah, I can do a Christopher Walken in Sleepy Hollow. I hope that was entertaining for you. He has no lines in Sleepy Hollow. It's not true. You should go back and watch the director's cut. Betty and Bonnie Hill, don't get me started. Man, Don't get me started on Betty and Barney Hill. Now, I happen to know that Philip Blair was in the chat on Into the Fringe when we talked about Betty and Barney Hill, man. So don't give me that line. That's just crazy. Philip Blair says, I drink coffee at all hours, man. And Tiger Stripes counters with, kind of late for coffee. If it were more of a comedy that had a deal of horror mixed into it, well, that's life, isn't it? Just comedy with a little horror mixed into it. Like every day I wake up and I'm like, oh, shit, man. I woke up again. I'm horrified. You know what I'm saying? Wizards duel at the end. Philip Blair says Norm Macdonald was an all hours coffee person too, man. I can't do Norm Macdonald, and I would not sully his memory to even try. And look how he ended up. I say that knowing Norm would appreciate it. That's very funny. Eventually, Vincent Price sitting on the Chandler throwing eggs at Boris Karloff. Yes. 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 Now, you must know I am a huge fan of Peter Lorre, and one of the first voices I ever did in my whole life was Peter Lorre. In fact, my parents used to get me up when I was 4 years old, when they had company over, to come down and entertain their company to do voices, including Peter Lorre. Rick, you despise me, don't you? There you go. Phantom Boomer is in the house, man. Now, this is a guy who can relate to where I'm coming from. A place where the dead come back to life means that the word unusual loses its meaning. I hope I lived up to your fast food disagrees with my tum-tum. Tiger Stripe says we can't know. Some treatments make folks bloat. Very hard on the system, man. And Tiger Stripe says, Phantom Boomer, then what are you doing here? Well, you know, a lot of us older folks, and I'm just going to count myself in that number, man, because Dennis Hopper was in his 70s or 80s when he died. A lot of us have, trouble staying asleep. You know, when you get older, man, you become more of a morning person. Even if you were a night owl when you were younger, as you get older, you just you become more of a morning person. That's just how it works. So get ready for it, kids, because you're all gonna be there. Loved his 7-minute jokes. Tiger Stripes, man, is asking Phantom Boomer, was the alert in your email? No, he got the alert from his notifications, just like you did. Man, come on. Don't take it so hard on Phantom Boomer, man. He's like one of my favorite people, just like you and everybody else in the chat. We better hook this thing up. I think you may be conflating Langella with Ted Danson making Whoopi with Whoopi. I think that's correct, because I don't think that Frank Langella would have anything to do with Whoopi Goldberg. Vertical bed, that'd be an interesting idea, wouldn't it? And Tiger Stripes is reminding me, Hanukkah overlaps a bit with Christmas this year. That's why I have the Hanukkah lights ready to go Those 8 crazy nights are going to come and go, baby. Bang! Before you know it, it's going to be over. It's like an advent calendar, just without the ovens. And we'll move along. Susan Dolan says, nope, Whoopi did Langella too. I'd really like to see the citation needed for this Langella Goldberg thing. Just because her stage name is Goldberg does not mean that she's Jewish. Man, I'm really sorry to break it to you, man. Ugh. God. Who made these drinks? All right, let's get back to where we once belonged. Tiger Stripes, I don't think so. When I tapped the alert, it brought me here. Ah-ha-ha. Darth Scipio says, I see no love for the Blackula in the chat. Man, I happen to love Blackula. I saw it in New York City on the first day of the first weekend of the premiere. Loved it. Still haven't seen Black Christmas, though. Now, Tiger Stripes is starting to pick nits with Phantom Boomer about, is this alert on your phone? What, can he have a PC? Maybe a laptop or a desktop? I don't understand where this hate for Phantom Boomer is coming from, man. Philip Blair says, my calendars have different spellings for Hanukkah, including starting with CH. Well, you spelled it right, Philip Blair. It's Hanukkah with 2 Ks, and that's all she wrote. Man. Tiger Stripe says, I thought Prophecy 2 and 3 were terrible, I fear. Again, if that's the case, man, you haven't seen them enough. Prophecy 2 is an excellent film where Christopher Walken really gets to spread his wings, if you get my drift, and I think you do. And Prophecy 3 has Glenn Danzig in it, and it's worth watching for that alone. If nothing else, Phantom Boomer is now admitting to Tiger Stripes' phone and tablet. Chris Gore is here. Wowie, wow. Chris Gore, wow. Thanks for being here and just dropping up. He says, run, runner. That's a, do I even have a copy? No, I don't. It's a Logan's Run reference. We did a show on Logan's Run. We're going to do another one soon, but probably not this time of night. My goodness, you're up early or very late, Mr. Gore. Tiger Stripe says to Philip Blair, yeah, well, they have a very different alphabet, so we have to do our best phonetically. Phantom Boomer replies to Tiger Stripe's phone and tablet. I'm in bed on the tablet. Read 2 books on Kindle last night. That's why no sleep, man. Well, I have to really hand it to you, Phantom Boomer. I can't do that. I've got to have my itty bitty book light. I'm a paper and ink man. You know, I proofread on the phone occasionally, but mostly I print them out. I use the old school proofreader's remarks for publishing, editing, etc. Phone and tablet. I'm glad to see I'm amusing you, Tiger Stripes. Man, that's extremely important that you're amused. Like I'm a clown for you. Am I some sort of a clown? Do I amuse you in some way? Jedi Bill 797 is here, and he says, all right, all right, all right. And Philip Blair also says, all right, all right, all right. And that's about as good as I can do for my Matthew McConaughey, man. It's just, I haven't really tried it that much, but thanks for letting me try it out on you. Phantom Boomer says, I have a stack of almost 30 hardbacks at this point waiting to be read. Darth Scipio says, sorry, gang. Christopher Walken is the most untalented actor ever. He was Chris Walken in all his roles. Why? Why do you have to be like that? Darth Scipio, I've always loved you. You know that. Now, you're making it very hard for me not to send my people after you. You know that, right? I'd get out of town if I were you. I'd just leave town. You've been warned. All right, we got to wrap this up. We're having too much fun. You got my comedy and your horror. You got your horror and my comedy. Horror plus time equals comedy. That's true. Or maybe camp. Krampus Jeebus says, hey, Chris, it's like a horror comedy Reese's Cup. Miss Eve is in the house. What's up, Cardinal? Well, here's what's up. I'm in my big punk rock shirt because this is the time of year when I can really wear this much plastisol and, it's not too much. Just popping in to say hello. Everyone what's it when everyone what's it when the dead come home? Yeah, it's Sisters of Mercy. I can't remember what the what's it is either, but go forth and sin no more. And Philip Blair advises us, watch which science fiction novels have the most romantic and imaginative alien snoo. I agree. You're drunk with coffee. And won't let me sleep past 6 a.m. anyway. Well, you better get to sleep, my friend. You don't have much time until that cat is coming to get you, baby. Langella is not woke. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you saying so. I haven't read Langella's memoir. I'm embarrassed. Man, I'm embarrassed because I haven't read Frank Langella's memoir either. Blackula is also Dr. Days from the original Star Trek. I assume you mean Dr. Daystrom. Flying lessons with Christopher Walken. That'd be fun. Learning to oh my God, I'm so not drunk. Oh my God, this is really stiff. Be stiff. Be stiff. Whoopi kind of dissed him after the breakup, which she does every time she dumps a white guy. Oh, I see. Okay. Phantom Boomer admits, I have lots of real books also. Sorry, I've strayed from the path, man. I apologize. Philip Blair wants to know, what do you listen to when you're reading? When I'm reading, I don't listen to anything. Darius Munchausen is here. I appreciate all of his being here. Darth Scipio says, I love you too, man. Cardinal Sin. I love you, Scipio. John Wayne was always John Wayne. Tom Cruise is always Tom Cruise. Philip Blair says, I loved Christopher Walken in A View to a Kill. Does Frank Langella read the audiobook of his memoir? I don't know, but if he doesn't, it's kind of a strike against him. He should, because he has the most beautiful alto profundo voice. He's one of my heroes of stage and screen. I have a man crush on Frank Langella. I'm happy to admit it. Like a 14-year-old girl, I'm like wet to the knees, man, when I hear Frank Langella talk or like he did a movie called Frost/Nixon with Michael Sheen as David Frost, and he plays Richard Nixon, and he doesn't overdo it like Richard Little used to do. He does sort of a restrained Nixon, and he just uses that beautiful alto voice of his, and everything comes off perfectly. If you want to see a really good movie, watch Frost/Nixon. Scipio, Langella, Engelbert, Humperdinck, and Marlon Brando, the male holy trinity. Hey, don't you know better than to use cursing in my chat? Scipio, don't make me come back there. I will turn this chat around. I am a little drunk on Frank Langella. That's true. One of my mods, Darius Munchausen, says, at Scipio, I saw this message held for review again, and I had a hunch. Yeah, Darius, you probably should have put the hammer down. And Philip Blair says, the Frank. Phantom Boomer says, Langella was my wife's favorite Dracula and Zorro. I didn't know Langella played Zorro. I also have a bit of a crush on Michael Sheen. He's an excellent actor. Why did Langella play Zorro? Because his agent called him and said the studio wanted him to play Zorro, I guess. What about Michael Caine? What is it exactly you're trying to say about Michael Caine? Is it that I haven't done my homework and I don't do a very good Michael Caine? That's probably what you're doing, and you'd be right. Might have been sometime in the 80s, says Phantom Boomer. Michael Caine is a fantastic actor. I bought his acting lessons. You don't say. And Phantom Boomer says, TV movie, I think. Okay, and that's going to wrap it up for this particular edition of what has come to be known as
It's the unboxing.
Oh, yeah. And that's just kind of my little fuck you to YouTube, because they don't like when I make original openings. So I just made a little 7-second opening there. Just me, myself, and I. And there you go. Zorro is the coolest superhero, in my humble opinion. And Phantom Boomer has fallen asleep. Congratulations. We got you where you needed to be. All right. So don't forget, watch this space, because we are going to be live streaming all kinds of stuff for the unboxing. We're going to be doing very soon we're going to be doing a Masters of the Genre that's going to blow your mind. Chat has been cleaned for YouTube. Appreciate that. Great stream, Darius Munchausen, Cardinal Sin, and chat. Thank you. Thank you. Darcipio, thank you everybody for being here. It is Cardinal Sin, and I am out.